Hello and welcome to Aslan Live. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the Galatasaray-Rizespor game, Kerem Akturkoglu transfer, our squad situation, and our board, of course. So let's just begin with Kerem Akturkoglu, who just transferred to Fenerbahce and came out with statements that I'm not surprised by. For example, saying, "I'm very happy to have joined Turkey's biggest club, its most honorable club." He deleted all of his posts on Instagram related to Galatasaray. Um, in my eyes, he's not a man, he's a coward. He's trying to be something he's not, by saying that he has ambitions, he has dreams, he wants to play in the biggest clubs in the world. He has ambitions for English, learning English. We remember when he played for us and uh, posted on Instagram, English text, and he tried to be international. But look at him, look at this guy, um, and coming out with these types of statements when so many people supported you. In my eyes, it's so disrespectful, and he will probably come out with more and more statements and trying to be more like Mert Hakan, I think. So just let him be. I can't wait to Singo to be in duel against him. I hope this season is also extremely important. But yeah, and Fenerbahce also. It's a comedy. Everything they did give the same offer 3-4 weeks ago before the Champions League qualification, and then they tried to lower that offer without succeeding, and then Benfica is and Kerem is knocking out Fenerbahce with Kerem Aktürkoğlu's goal, and then Fenerbahce is coming back with the same offer that they tried to lower. It's just comedy. And the worst thing is that they didn't know that Galatasaray had the first right to sign him, and they could answer in 5 business days. And if Galatasaray did not answer in those 5 business days, they would not have time to sign him for the Europe League squad. But as we know, political figures got involved and figured out some ways, probably called our boards and talked with them. The government has huge leverage on the Turkish clubs in terms of assets, in terms of debts. It's not easy for the clubs, when they are getting involved in these types of situations. Is it correct? Is it right to do it? No way. But yeah, I'm not shocked either. So for them to cry about Jappe here and Jappe there, look at this situation. And I think it's so amateur by our board, by Eray Yazgan, before our game versus Rizespor, to come out with this statement that Galatasaray will not exercise its right to right of first refusal for Kerem Aktürkoğlu by giving a moral lesson, and will not cause any trouble in his inclusion on the European list. Why are you even saying this? Do you really think that our the supporters want to hear this? We don't even have a goalkeeper. The board you are in, the people like you, said that we were going to get a goalkeeper before the first camp. We still doesn't have a goalkeeper. And it's 1 day left until the Champions League registration. And you're coming out with these statements. The statement where Fenerli are laughing at you, are saying who are you or who are Galatasaray to give moral lessons, blah 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 blah. Why are you coming out with these types of statements? And I never liked Eray Yazgan's or Metin Öztürk's statements. As I said before, just do the action. I don't care if you guys had accepted this thing. Don't let us know it. Just let them sign them. Okay, Galatasaray probably just accepted it. But you're coming out with these statements when we are desperate for players. And ironically, Fenerbahce just hours later are bidding for the player we wanted to have for so long, Ederson. But we are giving a moral lesson. And of course, then it's trending that, the Dursun Özbek istefa, the Yönetim istefa, that the fans want Dursun Özbek and the board out. Why are trying to play these type of games? How can they do these things correct? It's just, for me, so amateur. So amateur. It's just incredible. Yes, you have done right things with signing Osimhen, with signing Sané, with signing Singo. We got it. But still, this squad needs players. We need a midfielder. We need a goalkeeper. Yeah. For example, here, look at this squad. If you are looking here, the players I have question marks on are players I think are going to leave. Barış Alper, I think, are going to leave. Berkan Kutlu, Zaniolo, Yusuf Demir, Ahmet Kuducu. Elias Jelert has gone on loan to Southampton. If Yusuf Demir is leaving, we have no players under, born in 2002 or younger. You need quality there also. How are you going to do all of this in one day? I just can't understand it. How we're going to do it? For sure, I don't think we are going to fill up, those the spot for Champions League, because if you're not filling up with Turkish players or home ground players, you can't fill up the foreigner spot. So I don't think we are going to fill up that spot anyway, and that's so frustrating because we suffered from that a lot last year. For example, against Malmö, who was on the bench then? Ziyech came in so unmotivated. Who was the other players to get in there? It was only junior players, youth players. So if you're going in the same situation against teams like Manchester City or Atletico Madrid or, Liverpool, you're going to get, we are going to lose heavily then. I still think we need a midfielder, a winger if all of these wingers are leaving. Still the depth in the squad is not so good. Look at the defenders. If Sanchez is getting injured, of course Singo can play there and then Salah can play as a right back. But if, Sanchez and Yunus are getting injured, and let's say this is the squad, then Singo is playing center back, and who is playing right back? Can you trust Metahan? Can you trust Arda Unya? I love both of them, but can they play against Liverpool? Or maybe they are going to do it, I don't know. But I think the depth is so weak right now. And then we have a board who is talking about Kerem Akturkoglu and giving moral lessons when we are suffering so much. We have some huge transfers. I know that. But I would have preferred if you had not said this out to media, especially not before a game, our game. Why? Um, Yeah, we won against Rizespor 3-1. It was a disappointing game. It was goals by Davinson Sanchez on a corner, Osimhen and Icardi. First of all, the first half we had 8 touches in Rizespor's box. I don't remember these types of numbers in a long time, especially at home ground, and it's reasons for that. I rewatched the game. First of all, it was no closer. It was no players close to Osimhen. For example, Yunus had 1 touch in the opponent box in the first half. Sara had 1 touch in the opponent's box in first half, and Leroy Sané had 0. This is like the front players beside Osimhen, even though Gabriel Sara played as a central midfielder. But we had no players, supported Osimhen. For example, that there is where Bari Schalper is so strong. He's like a forward. He's making chaos in the 16. He's making those runs. He's making up space. He's dragging down the opponent's defenders and making space for other players in our team. And I expect that from Leroy Sané, for example. I will have a few words about him. I think he had a really disappointing game. I know that Leroy Sané still needs time. Of course he does. But in this game, he just looked totally unmotivated. It was one situation where he played the ball to Yunus Akgün. I don't know if you guys remember it. When Yunus Akgün chipped it over a player, Leroy Sané followed because it was Leroy Sané who played it to Yunus Akgün. Then Leroy Sané ran in the final third behind the midfielders in the half space and didn't get the ball by Yunus Akgün. Maybe you could have got it, but at the same time it was really tight there. Yunus Akgün is switching the play to the left side, and we are attacking on the left side. Our right winger, Leroy Sané, is walking back to the right side with his head down. In 5 seconds, he's zoning out totally. If he had kept that run and making, supporter, for example, Osimhen there, it could have been a huge difference. But he's walking back and he's sad and it's he got it was like, yeah, he didn't want to be in that situation anymore. You can't just zone out in 5 seconds. It's not acceptable at all to not run, to not press. For example, in the one situation also where Rizespor scored on the offside goal, not on the second goal where he tried to dribble himself out or turn himself out. I'm talking about the first goal where he is losing the ball, where he's trying to jump over the ball like it wouldn't happen in the 9th division either, to try to do that skill. And sorry if I'm too negative. And we are losing the ball there when we should have kept the ball, and Rizespor is attacking us. And because we were so low with our team, as I said, we were not supportive to Osimhen, but we were also very low with our team, with Abdulkarim, with Lemina, with Sanchez, with Salai. We were really low. Eren Elmalı. Torreira and Gabriel Sara was also pretty low, if you ask me. They did not support Osimhen in the first half enough. We need to go in a low block, and then, I haven't seen this in a long time, that the team had so many passes in our half. It was just not good to see. And also Abdulkarim struggled a lot against Sov. Behind the defense, he struggled a lot with his pace. In this offensive marking, he struggled a lot. He had a fantastic assist, but on the defensive part, I think Abdulkarim has struggled a lot in this game and against Kayseri, for example. And we also struggled in our high press because it was not Gabriel Sara who joined Osimhen to take out the center backs. Because I think after the Karagümrük game that Okan Hoca is thinking that Gabriel Sara is not that type of player. He struggled a lot in the press when he was one of the two strikers with Barış Alper. He doesn't have the intensity. He has not played in that situation many times, so he's probably he's not so good to know how uh, to lock down the other center back. So he's just pressing the goalkeeper, and it's so easy for the opponent to be playing Galatasaray's press out with Gabriel Sara in the front there. So he tried, sometimes with Torreira, sometimes with Yunus Akgün, but it just didn't work. And at the same time, Leminas very low. He was with the center backs. So it was always one midfielder who was open. So Torreira didn't know, should I press the center back or should I go back down on the midfielder who was totally free? So he was much in between. And then, it was really easy for Rizespor to play us out also. In the second half, at least, with the ball, we supported Osimhen more. Yunus Akgün was closer to him. Torreira was closer to him. For example, on Osimhen's goal, it was 4 Galatasaray players in the opponent's box. It was Osimhen, Yunus Akgün, Eren Elmalı, and Leroy Sané. So, it's so important to get players in the box when you're attacking. First of all, it's much higher chance to score. It says itself, if it's more players in the box. Second of all, if it's more players in the box, you're dragging down the other team. They need to mark you. Otherwise, you are totally free, It just makes sense. Then it's more opponent's players lower down on the field. It's bigger chance for you to keep the attack if they are clearing the ball out and you are getting the second ball. And that's something we have been really good on, with Galatasaray, to fill up the boxes. So also in the second half, we, it was not a perfect game, because on the goal we conceded, I think when Gunnar tried to play out, I think it's wrong to try to play out. But when you are playing out, the man who is pressing Gunnar is the striker who is on Abdulkarim's side. If you are looking at that goal again. But what Gunnar is trying to do is trying to play the ball in Torreira's feet. Torreira's side, on the right side, is Davinson Sanchez, as we know. The Rizespor attacker there was already marking Davinson Sanchez. So Gunnar is playing on the wrong player. If he really wants to play out from there, then you should 100% play on Gabriel Sara. Because Abdulkarim's man, the Rizespor player, are pressing Gunnar, then, Gabriel Sara could have easily played to Abdulkarim and he would have been totally free. But he didn't do that and we conceded a goal. I don't think it's on Torreira at all. It's a wrong decision by Gunnar, and it can happen, of course. I still think we need a first goalkeeper. Not only because of this goal. I said it all the time. I don't feel like he's, that goalkeeper, unfortunately. He's a really good reserve goalkeeper. What I'm trying to say here is that if we are coming in a bad, in bad form in the season, let's say 1 to 3 matches where we're doing bad, or having weak performances. I'm not sure if the fans after this transfer window, uh, even Gunai, can handle that. And let's say Gunai is making some errors. You can risk to lose a very good second goalkeeper also, because it's not easy if the fans and him are breaking the bond, and he wants to leave in January because of some disasters or whatever. It's a huge risk for Gunnar, I think, and it's a huge risk for the board at least. So for me, I think we definitively need a goalkeeper, and Ederson is now really close to Fenerbahce. So who are we going to go with? I don't know. It's gonna be difficult. And we scored on the, Icardi scored again. I want to talk a bit about that goal. Salah did the press. But if you're looking at that goal also, it's not the best press, because you see it's a free man for Rizespor there also. But it was because of Salah's intensity in the press that led to that goal. So it was not a perfect team press, but it was a really good press by Salah. And again, Icardi scored an easy goal. Nice for him. Really glad for him. So yeah, and we don't need to be in form right now, but we need to be in form when the Champions League are starting. So the 18th September, we are playing as Frankfurt away. So can't wait for that. Frankfurt, Germany. It's going to be, a really difficult game. How much, Gurbeche will be there. The Germans will probably show that they are Germans. This is our country, this. It's not only Germany, it's normal, So it's going to be a difficult game. Frankfurt has started strongly in the league. I think they won the 2 games they have played. We are meeting Liverpool home. It's going to be a really difficult game. Liverpool have just signed Isak right now. They have a really strong squad. I would have hoped that we would have played against Liverpool in one of the last games, hopefully when they had qualified for the top 8 or something. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but I would rather play with them than in the beginning, because they are going to come with their absolute best squad. So yeah, Bodø/Glimt, I know them. I am from Norway, and I would talk more closely about them. They are really strong also. I think they can surprise. We will just have to wait and see. Ajax away is going to be difficult. Against Union, it's just difficult games in Champions League. Monaco away, Atletico Madrid at home, and then Manchester City away in the last game. It really also depends on the last day. Who are we going to sign? What type of goalkeeper are we getting? If we are getting Onana or Altay, then please just let Gunai be the first goalkeeper and forget about everything I said earlier. And are we getting a midfielder, or what are happening? I don't know. So yeah, this was it, guys. I hope you guys liked it. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like this, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.